the
fun
vicar
and
of
stuff when
Christ.
you're washing, drinking, and bathing water. Then say hello to naturally clean water for life. Call Strickland Plumbing and HVAC today and have clean water in no time.
Granger, for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. Call to us, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way. Offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional ready products. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Are pouring in from around the globe in the wake of Pope Francis' death. We've got the latest information from the Vatican coming up. Cleanup efforts begin as families in North Texas spent Easter Sunday assessing damage caused by severe storms and possible tornadoes. And we're helping you keep your family safe this morning. Later in our show, we've got the 2 recall alerts you need to know about.
And most of us dry out there today. We'll stay dry tomorrow as well, but a chance for storms in our forecast again by the middle of the week. Those details coming up in the news at midday.
I'd like to know who's on duty at certain times. Please. Because like yesterday was fine.
Good Monday morning. Thank you so
Occasional
much for
people
joining us
riding
for
through,
East Texas News here at midday. The
You hear these
Vatican has
people?
announced the death of Pope Francis. The 88-year-old pontiff died following a series of health challenges. Before being elected as Pope in 2013, he served as Archbishop of Buenos Aires and was made a cardinal by Pope John Paul II. As Karen Cable reports, St. Pope Francis has the common touch.
Listening to them.
From the beginning, Pope Francis had the common touch. A simple good evening for the newly elected Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio
All the
of
devils are
Argentina,
going to be going
the first
extra
Pope ever
crazy
from the
now.
Americas. Equally at home with the poor and the powerful,
Whoever the
White
next
House
pope
in
is.
Italy or in France.
I imagine they're going to get a younger person.
The Pope focused much of his attention to those on the peripheries, as he called it, the outsiders excluded from society.
Billions of Catholics. All the
Thirsty,
Christians.
the stranger, the naked, the sick, those in prison.
He was not so popular at times inside the Vatican. Backlash from conservatives upset about his liberal approach to church teaching. Promised reforms and financial transparency never fully materializing. The scandal of sex abuse continuing to be the Catholic Church's biggest struggle.
He met with victims. He expressed heartfelt sorrow. He expressed resolve to get this right. But, most critics, many victims would say that wasn't actual policy followed.
When the coronavirus pandemic hit in 2020, this image of the Pope blessing the world from an empty St. Peter's Square became a symbol of that desolate time. Francis urged nations to share their vaccines with poor countries, vaccinated hundreds of homeless and underprivileged at the Vatican. From the beginning of the war in Ukraine in 2022, Francis was an outspoken advocate for peace. Francis avoided outright condemnation of Vladimir
They're the
Putin,
ones who started off.
begging him to stop with the love of his people, the Pope said. He made similar appeals for
People
peace
attack
during
you
the
for
conflict.
talking about the Jews for so long, and now everybody's blaming the Jews. Because it's not the Jews. What you think
Francis's
that?
most important message was one of fraternity.
Those who call themselves Jews, it's those who call themselves Christians, it's those who call
And
themselves
Pope Francis' body
all
will be
kinds
laid
of
in a
things.
coffin today. Many are expected to see him lying in state at
The
St.
Antichrist,
Peter's
the Holy
Basilica.
Roman Empire.
Among the faith leaders reacting to the Pope's passing, Bishop of Tyler Gregory Kelly,
Yeah,
writing
mainstream
hard,
media hates
by his words and
Christianity.
deeds, Pope
Yes.
Francis proclaimed
They
God's
want the
mercy
Pope.
to the world and
They
called
want
us to be a
it.
church of compassion and encounter. I we're grateful to him for the appointment to serve as your bishop here in the Diocese of Tyler. Bishop Kelly is inviting the faithful to a memorial mass for Pope Francis. It's set to happen tomorrow night at 7 o'clock in the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. The church is located at the corner of South Broadway Avenue and Front Street in Tyler. And while church offices are closed for Easter Monday, we're told daily masses are still being held today, with the usual weekday mass set to begin at 12:05 inside the chapel of St. Peter and Paul in Tyler, celebrated today by Bishop Kelly. The White House also sharing rest in peace alongside photos of President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance on previous visits with Pope Francis. And officials are warning drivers today in Tyler County to be cautious when they're driving around Sunday night's rain. According to the Tyler County Emergency Management Office, County Road 4470 and 1450 are covered in water, and drivers should use caution if they are in the area. While 1943 east and west, County Road 4475 at the intersection of FM 1013 and County Road 4478, they are closed. And we are learning that Tyler County has issued a disaster declaration due to the flooding and the storm damage there. All right, here's video of a tornado caught on camera in Jacksboro, Texas, just northwest of Fort Worth. A mobile home park in the area has several damaged homes, but right now no injuries have been reported. That's the good news. Another reported tornado, though, spotted Saturday near Weatherford. Several possible tornadoes also struck nearby Hood and Parker counties on Saturday night, causing extensive damage to homes and prompting swift community support for affected residents. Christina Holtwood has details.
I didn't know what to expect coming back today, when it's sunny and blue skies out, but, it's even more devastating to look at today than it was last night.
This is what things looked like last night. Chad Hudecki says the storm rolled in around 9:30.
We had probably penny-sized hail, and it lasted about 2 minutes. I would say from beginning to end, the whole thing, from the time we went into the safe spot, lasted less than 10 minutes.
As emergency sirens were going off, Chad says his family quickly sought shelter.
We were in shelter, bunkered down, with 2 dogs and five adults.
After the storm passed, Chad drove around. These are some of the images he took. As he checked on his neighbors, he came across this house.
I believe, she rode the storm out last night. I came by just to make sure everybody was okay, and, she was walking with a firefighter and seemed to be in good health.
In the 3 years Chad has lived in Hood County, he says this is the closest they've been to a tornado.
That if you get a warning, that you should seek that shelter, because you just never know. That's the scary part about tornadoes. Where hurricanes, you have time to prep, where, in the case for tornadoes, you definitely don't.
As cleanup efforts begin, Chad says it's nice to see the community show up for one another.
The amount of community support has been amazing to see as well. So, tragic, to say the least. We all come together, and hopefully we'll take care of the families that are affected.
And the National Weather Service is expected to survey the damage later today. Now to a traffic alert you need to know about: a major construction project underway in the heart of Lumpkin. Today, road crews will begin work on Gaslight Boulevard off the West Loop and Frank Avenue. This is the main access point for many medical clinics in the area. So pack your patience. The $4 million project expected to be complete by next February. So we've got a while to go. We're told the project will be done in phases to keep the road accessible. Eventually, though, there will be 2 lanes in each direction and a dedicated turn lane. Upgrades to the street lights and the installation of sidewalks are also planned. You should expect delays in this area for the next 10 months. And today we could learn more about charges for the suspect in a weekend standoff at an East Texas grocery store. On Sunday morning, Jacksonville police say a man with a gun went into a store on the 1000 block of South Jackson Street. The store was evacuated, and over the course of the next 4 hours, police say the suspect fired 10 rounds. No one was hurt, thankfully. A crisis negotiator was also called in to communicate with the suspect. DPS ultimately went into the business, ending the standoff with 38-year-old Amato Urquiza.
Guys did a great job. We had the help of the regional SWAT team, and the DPS were out on scene too, with their SWAT team. So those guys are professionals, and we're very proud of them.
Jacksonville police say the public is not in any danger following his arrest. Police also say they do not know at this time why he chose that location. Florida State University President Richard McCullough is reaching reaching out to student community following the shooting that took place on campus last week. The classes are set to resume today, but the president did make it clear that students have the option to work remotely if they feel they cannot return to campus.
Our thoughts remain with the families and friends who lost
What
loved
are
ones
snack
and
wraps
with those
from
injured
McDonald's?
and now recovering. This tragedy has shaken us all.
I've never heard of them.
That we are all here
I would.
A 20-year-old Florida State University student is accused of killing 2 people and wounding 5 others on campus with a handgun that belonged to his mother.
But
According to
it's probably
teachers here, meteorologist Andrew Tate joining us now from the First Alert Weather Center. Quite the Easter weekend. We had some areas get nothing and other areas pretty much got pounded with storms.
Yesterday, some parts of the area received rain, showers, and storms all
They
day long.
spray it everywhere.
Many of us yesterday was also a
Instead of
dry
spray.
day. We'll talk more about when rain returns in the area here.
Don't let it
So,
fall, they just
our Grand
feel
Plan
frosty.
radio WeatherNet site in Tatum, it is 73 degrees. We stayed dry there today. Did have some rain out there this morning. Talk about where and when the rain returns. That is coming up next.
First Alert Weather is sponsored by Texas Spine and Joint Urgent Care Longview.
Across the area today, we do have sunny skies out there right now. A little bit of cloud cover in some spots. You'll see that from our SBA tower camera in Nacogdoches, but again, mainly sunny across East Texas. There's some clouds, but there is also a lot of sunshine out there. You can see on the visible satellite where the clouds are mainly closer to the state line than San Rafael Reservoir out there. And then turn off the cloud cover, just look at radar. Do have a few showers moving through portions of deep East Texas, well south of the Lufkin area. This is going to be closer to I-10, Beaumont, Lake Charles, and then moving into southern Louisiana. Most of us will stay dry today. Only got 10% chance of rain in our forecast. You'll see on Futurecast, anything out there does stay mostly to the south of Lufkin and Nacogdoches, and then into this evening, that chance will come to an end. Mainly sunny for today, mainly clear this evening, but then overnight tonight, the clouds roll back in. This is tomorrow morning clouds and maybe even some fog out there to start the day into the afternoon. Seeing those skies clear some, and then a chance for some rain, mainly for the Lufkin Nacogdoches area. I think tomorrow, if we do see rain, Tyler Longview stays dry like today. Tyler Longview will stay dry. But then into Wednesday, the situation changes. Cloudy and foggy to start off the day on Wednesday, and then into Wednesday afternoon, we'll start to see the development of showers and thunderstorms across the area. At this point, we are not under a risk for severe weather this week. Looks like these storm systems will develop off to our west, out West Texas, and then move towards East Texas overnight, and then any energy left from those systems may develop into new showers and storms during the afternoons. And so, risk for severe storms off to our west, but can't completely rule out the chance. It's April after all, so anytime there is rain in the forecast, we'll watch things closely. But again, at this point, no severe weather in the forecast, just looking like scattered to widespread showers and storms for Wednesday. And with it being April and the storms being common this time of year, reminder, this week we have made it to the week. Project Tornado, the 23rd of April, 9 o'clock in the morning. Let us know that you'll be watching. Send us an email, Project Tornado Live at Gray.TV. Right now, 69 in Tyler, 73 Longview, 75 Lufkin, 70 in Nacogdoches. Across the state, mostly 70s out there, 60s in the Panhandle and West Texas, low 80s at this point, but not too far away. Right over into 78 degrees across the country, 46 in Helena, 43 in Spokane, 50 in Minneapolis, 66 in Nashville, 57 in St. Louis, 72 right now in Dallas, Fort Worth. Appears we might be having a technical issue, but I'm going to trust that you can still see and hear me. Winds are on the lighter side today after it has been breezy the last couple of days. Over the next handful of hours, continue to see plenty of sunshine as temperatures today climb up into the lower 80s this afternoon. And again, winds will stay light through the day today. Highs lower 80s, upper 70s, slightly warmer than we would typically be this time of year. Normal high temperature is about 78, and it looks like temperatures will remain above normal through the next 7 to 10 days. Again, we are dealing with some technical issues. Hope you'll bear with us. For the next 7 days, chance for rain does start to increase by the middle of the week. About a 50 to 70% chance for showers and storms on Wednesday. That chance, Jennifer, a little lower for Thursday and Friday, but still medium to high chance for rain in the second half.
All right, well, keep us posted, and I appreciate you. Thank you. We're keeping you and your family safe in many ways with new information about new recalls we have for you. The North Face is recalling a popular brand of women's waterproof boots because people wearing them are at risk of falling. That's not good. The product is the Shalista 5 Mid Waterproof Boot. The company says the hook in one of those boots can catch a place in the other, and that can cause a person to fall. So far, North Face has received 28 reports of the top hook catching on the lace of the other, and that has led to 15 injuries. The boots were sold from September last year until January of this one, and the company says customers can return these boots and receive a full refund. The FDA also reminding families that all batches of Gerber's Soothe and Chew teething sticks have been recalled, as the product is still available at some retailers and online. Gerber initially announced the recall earlier this year, said the product poses a potential choking hazard for babies and young children. The teething sticks can come in strawberry, apple, and banana, and they were sold nationwide. Take a look at this recent discovery. Archaeologists found footprint of animals that walked more than 50 million years ago. So cool. The fossilized footprints were found at the John Day Fossil Beds National Monument in Oregon. These are the first known fossil tracks of birds and lizards at that monument. Behavioral patterns discovered in these ancient species are similar to seen in today's modern world. A new scam alert is very aware of. Scammers are now sending out fake toll tags in an attempt to get your personal data. You might have already got one or two.
Fossil dating
I've
is
got
so
three.
ridiculous.
We've got what you need to know to keep yourself safe and your family safe after this break.
50 million
Scam making
people.
its way around. You've likely gotten a message about it and an overdue
So
toll.
they've actually tested live animals,
Don't fall for these
and they
messages.
come up
They're one of the
millions of
latest attempts to
years
take your
old.
personal information. Lee Waldman has more on what you can do to tell between these scams
Jump
and what's
science.
real.
It's deceptively simple. The scam is very easy to fall for.
You've likely gotten a few of these messages to your phone recently, alerting you to unpaid tolls or an outstanding E-ZPass balance. These are called smishing scams.
They're looking to steal your personal information, followed by your credit card information, and finally, they will often have a multi-factor authentication bypass.
Ford Merrill, Director of Research and Innovation at Security Alliance, has been following these types of scams since 2023. To protect yourself, he says, pay attention to the sender.
Looking at the sender address, it will often be like a strange number that you don't recognize, or an email address that you don't recognize, even though it's a text message.
Greg Ford, the Executive Director of the New York State Thruway Authority, agrees, saying legitimate agencies like his will never try to collect payment over text or email.
They will never ask you to pay a bill in this way. And you either have an account or you have a formal process to pay your tolls by mail.
His agency is working with New York Governor Kathy Hochul's office to warn the public about these scams, as well as what to do if you fall victim. If you do get one of these messages, or says simply delete it.
Red flag should go off right away as to whether this is legitimate and real, and they should not engage if it's somebody they call. If it's an email or text, they should delete it right away.
In New York, and welcome.
And these toll smishing scams are a widespread problem that the FBI is taking seriously. According to its data, in 2024, the Internet Crime Complaint Center received more than 60,000 complaints about the unpaid toll scam. Capital One and Discover are a step closer to merging and becoming the largest credit card company in the U.S. To get full approval, Capital One must provide the Office of the Comptroller of the currency with a plan to address several issues. The deal was first announced more than a year ago. And DHL Shipping is temporarily suspending business-to-consumer shipments to the U.S. for more than $800. DHS says the move was due to significant increase in red tape at customs following the introduction of President Trump's tariffs. Previously, packages worth up to $2,500 could enter the U.S. with minimal paperwork, but now the threshold has been lowered due to more stringent customs checks. DHS says the new policy will start today. Movie fans are getting an early look at some highly anticipated releases. A sneak peek showcase is coming to theaters that shows special first looks at upcoming movies. More on this next in Trending News. In Trending News, you'll have a new album from a beloved musician to add to your collection very soon. Stevie Nicks is working on a new solo album. Nicks says it'll be autobiographical. She appeared at the Pollster Awards earlier this week and revealed she's already completed 7 songs for the album. The 8-time Grammy winner has released 8 solo albums in addition to the 8 albums she produced with Right now, it's unclear when Nick plans to release the new album, so you'll have to keep an eye out for that. Most movie theaters show a few trailers for upcoming movies ahead of the main feature. Well, this week, some audiences will get a whole lot more than the usual coming attractions. David Daniel explains in today's Hollywood Minute.
It's a movie preview marathon. This Tuesday and Thursday, the Cinema Foundation is screening a sneak peek showcase at thousands of North American theaters, with proceeds going to charity. The nearly 70-minute program will include clips, behind-the-scenes footage, and previews of summer and fall films screened at this year's CinemaCon, the annual gathering of movie theater owners. Those films include the live-action How to Train Your Dragon, Ben Affleck in The Accountant 2, and From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. If mid-screen music is more your style, there's Pink Floyd at Pompeii, 1972. The digitally remastered concert film is set to screen in select IMAX and other theaters beginning Thursday, with a full-length live album available for the first time May 2nd. The performance was the first live concert to take place in the ruins of the ancient Roman theater in Pompeii. Calling to you across the sky in Hollywood, David Daniel.
A second Signal chat where Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth allegedly shared sensitive material information has been discovered. And sources tell ABC News this second chat was created to discuss the Secretary's schedule and administrative information until a tax plans was shared. And around the world, many are mourning the death of Pope Francis, the first Latin American pontiff who charmed many with his humble style and concerns for the poor. Up next, a look at his life and his legacy.
To success at TJC.
Pope Francis has died at the age of 88. The Vatican confirms he passed away this morning just weeks after leaving the hospital where he was treated for double pneumonia. His death comes just one day after he greeted thousands of faithful who filled St. Peter's Square outside the Vatican Easter Sunday. ABC's Rita Roy has more on his life and his legacy.
The bells at St. Peter's Basilica are ringing out today, marking the death of Pope Francis. The Vatican says he passed away around 7:30 a.m. in Rome at the age of 88. Flags at half-staff across Rome, mourners leaving flowers in the Vatican's piazza, and people praying outside the basilica where he'll be buried. The news comes just a day after Pope Francis celebrated Easter with thousands of faithful, blessing the crowd and wishing them a happy Easter. In his final message, the Pope calling for peace around the world, he greeted the faithful from the Popemobile.
Well, it didn't stop this news and the Pope's passing. Immediately on the heels of Easter Sunday, we all watched the Pope give his blessing.
The Pope also meeting Sunday with Vice President J.D. Vance. He said today in a statement he was happy to see him. Pope Francis was historic in many ways, injecting a new wave of optimism into the church and making history as the first Pope from Latin America and the first Jesuit. Francis called for a larger role for women in the church. At the same time, he reaffirmed church opposition to female priests. He took steps to express compassion for the LGBTQ community, saying we are all children of God, all holding fast to the church's strict teachings. He was often referred to as the People's Pope, known for his humility and humor, his warmth for children, and his compassion for the poor and the sick.
The process for selecting a successor typically begins 15 to 20 days after the Pope's death. Cardinals around the world will gather in a secluded area inside Vatican City before voting on a Pope in the Sistine Chapel. Among the faith leaders reacting to the Pope's passing, Bishop of Tyler, Gregory Kelly, writing in part by his words and deeds, Pope Francis proclaimed God's mercy to the world and called us to be a church of compassion and encounter. I am also grateful to him for the appointment to serve as your bishop here in the Diocese of Tyler. Bishop Kelly is inviting the faithful to a memorial mass for Pope Francis. It's set to happen tomorrow night at 7 at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. The church is located at the corner of South Broadway and Front Streets in Tyler. And while church offices are closed for Easter Monday, we're told daily masses are still being held today. posting on X, quote, "My heart goes out to the millions of Christians all over the world who loved him. I was happy to see him yesterday, though he was obviously very ill." Just hours before he died, Pope Francis had a brief private meeting with American Vice President J.D. Vance, who is a Catholic convert. The meeting only lasted a few minutes, but it gave them both a chance to
Just use the restroom.
Officials are warning drivers in Tyler County to be cautious when driving after last night's rain. According to the Tyler County Emergency Management Office, County Road 4470 and 1450, they are covered in water, and drivers should use caution if they're in the area. While 1943 East and West, County Road 4475, and the intersection of FM 1013 and County Road 4478, they are closed. And we are now learning that Tyler County has issued a disaster declaration due to the flooding and the storm damage from this weekend. Now to another traffic alert. A major construction project ready to get underway in the heart of Lufkin. Today, road crews begin work on Gaslight Boulevard, off West Loop, and Frank Avenue. This is the main access point for many medical clinics in town. The $4 million project is expected to be complete by next February. We're told the project will be done in phases to keep the road accessible. Eventually, there will be 2 lanes in each direction and a dedicated turn lane. Upgrades to the street lights and the installation of sidewalks are also planned. You should expect delays in this area for the next 10 months. So pack your patience. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is facing more allegations this morning and is sending attack plans over the messaging app Signal, this time to his family members. Today, Hegseth called it old news that, quote, doesn't matter. ABC's Perry Grusson is in Washington.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth's use of the messaging app Signal back in the spotlight. As sources tell ABC News, Hegseth shared highly sensitive military attack plans. His wife, brother, and personal attorney in a Signal chat ahead of the airstrikes in Yemen last month. Sources say it was some of the same sensitive information Hegseth sent to Trump administration officials on Signal, including flight schedules for F-18s, long before the attacks were launched. This morning, Hegseth at the annual White House Easter egg bowl with his family, leaving ex-Pentagon staffers and the media.
And anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter.
In the last few weeks, 3 of Hegseth's senior advisors were escorted out of the Pentagon. After the leak investigation was started, the advisors denied they were leaking.
What a big surprise that a bunch of few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out.
Sources tell ABC News this second Signal chat called Defense Team Huddle was created by Hegseth himself. His brother Phil is a senior advisor for the Department of Homeland Security, assigned to the Department of Defense. Hegseth's personal attorney, Tim Carlatori, is a Navy reservist assigned to Hegseth's office. It's not clear why either of them should have known about the strikes before they happened, and nothing should have been shared with Hegseth's wife, Jennifer, a former TV News producer.
Nobody's texting war plans.
Hegseth was already facing criticism for sharing attack plans in the Signal chat, started by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. The editor-in-chief of The Atlantic was accidentally added.
Undoubtedly transmitted classified, sensitive operational information via this chain must resign immediately.
Hegseth this morning says President Trump is standing by him.
I've spoken to the president, and we are going to continue fighting on the same page all the way.
And a former spokesperson for the Pentagon wrote in an op-ed that the dysfunction is now a major distraction for the president, who deserves better from his senior leadership. That's a quote. Today, we could learn more about charges for the suspect in a weekend standoff at an East Texas grocery store. Sunday morning, Jacksonville police say a man with a gun went into a store in the 1000 block of South Jackson Street. The store was evacuated, and over the course of the next 4 hours, police say the suspect fired 10 rounds. No one was hurt. A crisis negotiator was also called in to communicate with the suspect. DPS ultimately went into the business, ending the standoff with 38-year-old Amato Urquiza.
Our guys did a great job. We had the help of the regional SWAT team, and the DPS arrived on the scene too with their SWAT team. So those guys are professionals, and we're really proud of them.
And Jacksonville police say the public is not in any danger following his arrest. Police also say they do not know at this time why he chose the location. A man from North Texas who admitted to carrying out a mass shooting at an El Paso Walmart is expected to plead guilty today. Patrick Crusius worked out of a plea deal last month after prosecutors decided to not seek the death penalty in the case. 23 people were killed, nearly 24 others wounded in the August 2019 shooting. Prosecutors say Crusius targeted Hispanic people when he attack. After he enters his guilty plea today, the judge will sentence him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Coming up this afternoon on Investigate TV Plus.
Hear from victims of the opioid epidemic like never before.
I got what I thought was Xanax from a friend.
We take an in-depth look at the campaign that brings warnings from beyond the grave and examine the ethics behind the AI images.
Investigate TV Plus starts right here at 3 o'clock, followed by Jeopardy and the East Texas News at 4. Thieves have a new way to steal your car in seconds, and it involves your car's key fob. What to know and what you need to know to keep your family safe after this.
First Alert Weather is sponsored by Texas Spine and Joint Urgent Care, Longview.
Another look at our tower camera from SFA in Nacogdoches, showing you those mainly sunny skies out there, but also still some clouds rolling through East Texas. Nacogdoches at 70 degrees this morning, winds out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour. You can see on the visible satellite clouds mainly from the Lufkin Nacogdoches area to the east, even some clouds approaching the Carthage area in central Panola County. But for most of us out there today, it will be a mainly sunny day. Turn off the cloud cover, just look at radar. Most of us dry, still watching some showers closer to Toledo Bend in areas south and east of Lufkin. Give you a closer look at those. These showers going to be from Beaumont towards Buna into Fort Polk and north of Alexandria, Louisiana, moving into central Louisiana this morning. Futurecast moves that rain on out for the next few hours, though we'll keep a chance for areas south of Lufkin into the afternoon and evening. Tonight, mainly clear skies, but then clouds and fog into tomorrow morning. And tomorrow will be kind of a partly cloudy to mostly cloudy day with some showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two south of Lufkin. Most of us will stay dry tomorrow, but by the time we get to Wednesday, the chance for rain does become a little more widespread. Wednesday morning, cloudy skies with some fog, and then into the afternoon, some showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms. Again, as I said earlier, this time of year, anytime there is rain in the forecast, we cannot completely rule out the potential for a strong to severe thunderstorm. But as of right now, we are not under a risk for severe weather on Wednesday. I think any severe storms on Wednesday will be well off to our west and West Texas. It's probably going to be the story all week. Risk for storms in West Texas, maybe seeing some of those make it to East Texas at times later this week. Hey, let's press pause here. We're really hitting on this. We are in the final days ahead of Project Tornado Live, our severe weather safety campaign that we do every April. Mark Skirdo started this almost 40 years ago. We continue his tradition and legacy today. April 23rd, 9 o'clock in the morning on East Texas Now. Let us know that you'll be watching. It's not a requirement, but we do want to know how many of you will be joining us. Project Tornado Live at Gray.TV. Temperatures right now in the 60s and 70s. Dew points are in the 50s and 60s. I show this to you to show you where the cold front is. 58 the dew point in Lufkin, 68 in Jasper. The cold front is Lufkin has yet to make it to Jasper at this point. Your hour-by-hour forecast for this afternoon, mainly sunny skies as temperatures warm up into the lower 80s, lighter winds, and jet moving northeast about 5 miles per hour today. High of 82 degrees, mostly sunny. Sunset this evening, 4 minutes before 8 o'clock. That's sunset time, getting closer and closer to 8 o'clock. We'll continue to get later and later into the summer. Your 7-day to 10-day temperature trend, 78 on the high for today. Well above that for most of the next 7 days. By early next week, 10 degrees above that. And no major cold fronts expected for the foreseeable future. So temperatures looking to remain warm for us for the foreseeable future. There's your first look 7-day forecast. High chance for rain on Wednesday. At this point, severe weather is not in the forecast. If that changes, we will let you know. At a 50-50 shot Thursday and Friday, and lower chances into weekend. Morning lows in the 60s, highs in the 70s and 80s. That will put temperatures above normal for this time of year for the next 7 days. And again, no major cold fronts or significant stronger fronts expected for the foreseeable future. Jennifer, looking like it's going to be warm.
Okay, I am ready for it now that you've warned me. Thank you so much. All right, now to an update and some breaking news to a story we just brought you. A North Texas man who admitted to carrying out a mass shooting at the El Paso Walmart. He pleaded guilty to murder a short time ago. Patrick Crucius worked out a plea deal last month, as we told you, after prosecutors decided not to seek the death penalty in the 2019 case. The El Paso district attorney says the decision was driven by the majority of victims' relatives who wanted the case to be over. 23 people were killed nearly 2 dozen others hurt in the shooting. Happened back in 2019 in August. Prosecutor Steve Crucius targeted Hispanics while he carried out the attack, and after he entered his guilty plea, the judge sentenced Crucius to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His defense had argued he suffered from schizophrenia and hallucinations and a quote, broken brain. This morning, we're keeping you safe with a new alert for car owners. Criminals have a new high-tech way to steal your vehicle. It involves copying your key fob, and it takes only a few minutes. Here's ABC's Allison Cossack.
More police across the country are warning about a tool that lets thieves steal your cars in seconds without ever touching a key.
I watched somebody drive off with my car.
It's called a ProPad, a tool used by locksmiths, now being abused to clone key fobs and program new ones. Christina Rinaldi tells our Detroit station WXYZ she watched her own car being stolen from her driveway in the middle of the night.
I see a young male, smaller build, all in black, run from that Charger to my truck.
She says a Dodge Charger pulled up outside and the suspect ran straight to her SUV.
I'm like, hey, and I hear a male voice in the Charger like, let's go, let's go.
The thieves took off. Her vehicle was eventually recovered after a police chase, but was totaled. From Michigan to Georgia, New York to Texas, police are tracking thieves who use ProPad-like devices. This locksmith in San Antonio showed our San Antonio station KSAT that a key fob copy can be made in just minutes.
Select make the vehicle.
He says cars made in 2020 and older are more vulnerable.
Whether you're at the gym, or you're on home, or just running into the store, take everything out of your car, lock it up, put it in the garage, whatever you gotta do.
Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
There are also these special sleeves or boxes that you can purchase that block the radio signals of your key fob when it's not being used. Interesting. Cancer deaths are declining. A new report says diagnosis rates are on the rise, though, for women. We're going to take a closer look at the report and tell you what you need to know coming up in our Med Team report. According to a new report, cancer death rates in the U.S. are declining, but diagnosis rates are increasing for women. The 2024 annual report to the nation on the status of cancer was published today. It showed a steady decline in overall cancer deaths from 2001 through 2022. The rate of diagnoses among men fell from 2001 to 2013 and then stabilized through 2021. But among women, the rate increased slightly every year between 2003 and 2021. Today, the Justice Department is defending the Affordable Care Act before the Supreme Court. The High Court will consider the legality of certain no-cost sharing coverage mandates. A government task force issues the recommendations, and the law mandates that certain preventative services are covered for patients. But the people suing argue the mandates are unconstitutional because the recommendations come from an independent task force that the Senate did not confirm. If the High Court sides with the Trump administration, the HHS Secretary could end up having a say on those mandates and how they're performed. According to the CDC, 1 in 31 children in the U.S. are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and organizations throughout East Texas are shedding light on it. That includes one group out of Holmesville. Casey Watson founded Autism Moms of East Texas after a psychologist diagnosed her son with autism. The group discusses intellectual disability disorders and how to aid their children through life. April is Autism Acceptance Month, but these mothers spread awareness in every opportunity.
Not just for a month, it's not just for a season, it's for life. Because they deserve to have a full, well-rounded life, just like everybody else.
Autism Moms of East Texas holds meetings the second Monday of every month. Those meetings are held at 11 a.m. at the Learning Resources Center in Marshall. We'll be back.
Yeah, it used to be like 1 in 30,000 or something had autism. Now it's like 1 in 11 or something. Ridiculous.
Dream Breaker.
Same as cancer.
Story looks at how the sport moved
Spend all these decades fighting cancer, giving, throwing money at it, and all this.
Into big bucks. Dream Breaker, a pickleball story, is now streaming.
Because they never addressed the actual
For
problem.
the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, pickleball, here's ABC's Chuck.
Let it run. Be careful.
Plus, they tell you they want to get rid of 90% of the world's population.
Directed by Ryan Coogler, has taken home $45.6 million since its debut on Friday. Dethroning a light grab movie in its third week of release, it's made about $41 million. The animated Christian film King of Kings came in third, just over $17 million. The force was with many Japanese as well as visitors from abroad at a Star Wars event in Japan outside Tokyo. Hayden Christensen is returning to a galaxy far, far away over the weekend. The actor confirmed he'll take up the role of Anakin Skywalker once again in season 2 of the Star Wars streaming series Ashoka. Previously played the character in the Star Wars prequel movies and the Obi-Wan TV show. At that Star Wars event, Lucasfilm announced that the next installation of the franchise will hit theaters in May 2027, starring Ryan Gosling. Gosling and director Sean Levy appeared on stage before a lightsaber-waving crowd. Star Wars Starfighter will not be a prequel or a sequel, but a new standalone adventure with new characters set several years after Episode 9. Filming starts later this year. Lucasfilm is owned by Disney, the parent company of ABC Networks.
Don't you worry about cholesterol?
No, Andy McDowell, Billy Bill from Groundhog Day, More Weddings and Funeral, turned 67 today. Chuck Severson, ABC News.
All right, if you're heading out to lunch today, is it a patio day or is it a sit-inside day?
I think you could be outside today. It depends how much you like
I
the
think
cool
it
temperatures. Many of us
depends.
and even some spots in the low 70s and out there mid-70s as well. But it is a little cool
I think it's
out there. It's
amazing.
definitely not a warm day by any means. But
Because
that
they were so wrong about just this
It will
weekend.
be nice. So again, if you want to be outdoors, I think you wouldn't have any big issues there. Sunny skies this afternoon as temperatures today climb up into the lower 80s. Temperatures will be above normal for this time of year today. We'll actually be pretty much every day this week. The chance of rain will be higher on Wednesday. Today and tomorrow, the chance of rain is pretty low, but on Wednesday, it is going to be a higher chance. At this point, severe weather is not in the forecast. If that changes, we'll be the first to let you know. Thursday and Friday, about 50-50 shot for some showers and storms and lower chance into the weekend. So overall, I'm not too concerned about severe storms this week. Can't rule them out just given that it's springtime, but this is not going to be a situation where we're going to be high anxiety all week long. Just know there's a chance for rain out there. Might have some rumbles of thunder, and if anything changes, we will again be the first to let you know. Enjoy the sunshine out there today.
It's weird to think that thunderstorms can actually be just normal and not severe.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy the rain. All right, we'll be back for East Texas.
He just said
East Texas now.
could be sunny, and then
Continue
she
to see
said
reactions
it's
come
going
in
to rain.
following the death of Francis, including faith leaders right here in East Texas. Join us for the latest on EastTexasNow.live, your East Texas Now mobile app for your Roku device.
Get your news wherever you are. Sponsored by Ultra Federal Credit Union. What the best East Texas has to offer you and your pet in our brand new Pet Project app. Just search KLTV or KTRE in your app store. Answer the daily weather school question in the project tool. Brings the time to get ahead with Patriot Electric Heating and Cooling. Schedule your HVAC maintenance now to stay cool and avoid costly repairs. Protect your home with full home surge protection. Lifetime warranty and $100,000 coverage included. And for a limited time, save $500 on a 24,000-watt generator, $1,000 off for Patriot Club members. Don't wait. Visit PatriotETX.com and get your home ready for the season today.
U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is discussing military plans on the messaging as a signal to give details on the security concerns being raised.
Florida State University classes resumed today after that shooting on campus last week left 2 people dead and 5 others hurt. How the university is offering support to the students during this trying time.
And some traffic trouble spots to be aware of as you head out this morning. I'll have details on those coming up in a few minutes.
In the
coast, but as you look outside with live Doppler radar, you're noticing maybe just a couple of showers behind that front for parts of Nacogdoches and soon into San Augustine counties, but some heavier rainfall certainly still evident across southern parts of Polk and Tyler counties. Current temperature spread anywhere from 49 to 64 degrees behind that front, so anywhere from chilly to cool to mild from north to south. We'll get closer to the same page with their temperatures later on this afternoon as highs jump up to near 80 degrees. A lot of sunshine for now, but more likely rain chances are expected through the middle to late part of this week. Lana Dan, back to you. We're continuing to follow that breaking news overnight from the Vatican and the death of Pope Francis just after midnight our time.
The 88-year-old pontiff died following a series of health challenges in recent years. Here's the announcement just a short time ago.
Dear brothers and sisters, with deep sorrow I must announce the death of our Holy Father, Francis. At 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house he always lived. His whole life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and his church. He taught us to live the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage, and universal love, especially in favor of the poorest and most marginalized.
And here's a live look this morning at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican City as Catholics around the world mourn the death of Pope Francis. The Vatican is preparing for what comes next. We'll learn more about this as the day progresses. Still a shock to many as the Pope gave the traditional Easter blessing just 24 hours ago. The pontiff appeared from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica in front of the delighted crowd. The Pope said, "Dear brothers and sisters, happy Easter." Pope Francis had a brief private meeting with American Vice President James Vance, who is a Catholic convert. The Vatican said the two met at Casa Santa Marta in Vatican City. While it only lasted a few minutes, the meeting gave them both a chance to exchange Easter greetings. The Vice President said, quote, "I know you have not been feeling great, but it's good to see you in better health."
And some new reaction from the Vice President on social media, posting on X, quote, "My heart goes out to millions of Christians all over the world who loved him. I was happy to see him yesterday, though he was obviously very ill." He went on to say he'll always remember a homily given in the early days of his pontificate. White House also sharing rest in peace alongside photos of President Donald Trump and Vice President Vance on previous visits with Pope Francis. Now his 12-year papacy will be concluded. 36 in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He was ordained a priest in 1969, eventually becoming Archbishop of Buenos Aires. He was elected as Pope in 2013 after Pope Benedict retired. And Francis was the first Jesuit Pope, the first Latin American Pope, and the first from the Americas. And so begins the process of picking his successor. The death of a Pope initiates a centuries-old ritual of the life of the pontiff. There are 9 days of annual rites during which the Pope is buried. Then a conclave convenes between 15 and 20 days from now. We'll see cardinals scattered around the world to participate in that funeral mass, and then the conclave. Of course, our special coverage of the death of Pope Francis right here at Luncheonette Express. Live coverage coming up on GMA.
6:34 happening now. Security concerns over sending private messages to high-profile people is growing. Economic sources say Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared detailed plans about a military operation against the Houthis in Yemen on a second signal group chat with members of his family and his lawyers. This signal chat is in addition to the one Hegseth used to communicate with cabinet officials last month about the military plans against the Houthis.
best TV experience.
Hey, video was made for you.
My insurance company raised my premiums again.
Freeway is your solution, no matter what your situation. Listen, even if you have tickets, accidents, or a DUI, our agents can help you find affordable car insurance that fits your needs.
I'm switching to Freeway.
Welcome to the Freeway family.
800-760-4018. 800-760-4018.
You're probably wondering how we got here. Let's go to the tape. Bingo. Pull up the duck out.